Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back for another episode of Rants. This is episode 29. That is 29 in the years. 29. I am your host, Mudcat. I have to think about this. I haven't done one of these in like 2 months. So I'm literally been sitting here like, do I remember how to do this? Is this a thing that I still do? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, guys. So it's been about 2 months. If you're listening in, if you're binging these, you're not going to realize that. But if you have been waiting on a new episode of Rants, you've been waiting like 2 fucking months. Um, so where have I been? What have I been doing? There's several reasons for that. There's several reasons for that. Number one, the first reason, is I was doing some content with my PC, and I had the one PC, and I just couldn't do recordings while I was doing the other stuff, um, and so it kind of just got into this thing where okay, well, I'm just not gonna do it until I get my new PCs, and so I have a dual PC setup now. I've got more monitors. My house is full of boxes. I've moved shit from one room to the other room to the other room to the other room like a million times in the last couple of months. It's been kind of a shit show. I'll be honest with you. It's been kind of a shit show just trying to get everything. The cable. I spent yesterday doing like 6 hours of cable management. It fucking sucked. And then we were at PAX and so I've been doing some other stuff and on top of that, let me just go ahead and say like I didn't know what the fuck to talk about anymore. You know what I mean? Like in the last 2 months, even coming back to the podcast, it's been kind of daunting. Like, what do I say? What do I talk about? I feel like some of my opinions on things have changed significantly in the last 2 months. And like, do I come out the gate and contradict everything I might have said earlier, or do I, uh, you know, talk about it in a new, fresh way and just say, here's how things are evolving, or do I just stop the podcast because I can't fucking make up my mind on a topic or other topics? So it's been kind of an interesting journey as far as like getting back to the podcast. And then there's been some things I've been, working on and worried about the actual stream and stuff like that. So just is all stuff building up um, and I just didn't feel like I had anything to say. I'll be honest with you. And to me, part of it was like I'd rather not say anything than say something I don't really give a shit about. You know what I mean? Um, because these don't work if I don't fucking care. In my opinion. So it just was like a regrouping time, and we're only 29 episodes in, so like it's kind of an early time to be regrouping, and hopefully that doesn't happen, consistently. But it'd been a solid amount of time on the old podcast. So I feel pretty good about it. I don't know getting back in if we're gonna do these hard and fast every other week. I'd like to, or every week. I mean, that would be ideal for me. Or I'm obviously regularly, but I think maybe to avoid that, I might play with my schedule, release schedule just a little bit to see what works for me. I'm kind of in a state of flux right now in terms of the stream and in terms of the podcast. Bringing it back, I kind of wanted to do change up the format a little bit here. I mean, obviously, still the same podcast. We're still gonna fucking just sit here and chew the fat and shoot the shit and all that stuff. But in terms of format, I think I wanted to focus a little bit more moving forward about my own stream in some ways. I've given a lot of thoughts about philosophy and ideas in general of like what I think about streaming and stuff like that, and that's still going to continue. But I also want to kind of incorporate a component of, here's what's going on in my stream, and I've done that in the past, but I want to do it in a more pronounced way. I really want to rip myself a new one on this podcast. You know what I mean? Like I talk about all the time about um the kind of content you're creating and like and really self-evaluating and all that stuff, and it's cool to just say it, but it's another thing to like show how that process works, or to just do that process for other people. And so super uncomfortable, but I think I'm gonna do that, maybe not every episode, but I really want to incorporate that um into some of these episodes. So let's start with this episode, right? Let's start here with this episode, talking about this idea of self-evaluation. We're gonna talk about, let me tell you what the big topic is today. Today we're gonna talk about consistency. That's a fucking laugh, right? Consistency. Oh god. Guy hasn't done a podcast in 2 months, come back, talks about consistency. Fuck my life, right? Um anyway, so the new format, I want to address some of that stuff, And so it's been a weird couple of months, man. It's been a weird couple of months. And I'm just gonna lay it right out there. My stream is not where I want it to be right now. It is not going as well as I want it to go. My content is, in my opinion, kind of shitty. I'm all about that shit content, right? I feel like I've been making some shit content. Um, and I've got some reasons why. We'll go through all the reasons. I'll hash it out and tell you why I think it is, and what I'm gonna do moving forward to try to mitigate some of those reasons. Um, and I understand there's gonna be some people out there like, I watch your stream every day. It's fucking great. Well, what you think and what I think are two different things, right? So, for me, my stream has been not every day, all day, but like there's been a lot of shitty content on my channel, and I really don't like that, and I'll be the first one to call out my own shit. So before anybody else can do it, right? So let's just take like a top down view. Let's see, sub count way fucking down. I don't like to talk numbers like that too much, but we're talking like 150 down from like a couple of months ago. Part of that's gifted sub craze, so it's not all apples to oranges, right? It's not all like, oh, you're doing bad, so bad sub count. Like sometimes it's like you get a large amount of gifted subs, like all that. So take that with a grain of salt, but sub count way down. Viewers, concurrent viewership, about half of what it was 2 months ago. Um, we're still rocking like 30 to 40, but we were up closer to 50, 60, 70 every day. And that was feeling good about that. And it's kind of funny to like say that, to be like to bitch about like 30 and 40 when I spent so much time not able to get over the hump of like 5 viewers, right? And 10 viewers and 15. And I felt like I would never get to the point where I had 30 viewers. And I was like, just give me 30, please. And now I'm at 30, like bitching, like, why don't I have 60 anymore? You know what I mean? Like that's all perspective, and that's all like part of, I feel like, growth. Like, you hit a certain milestone and you just want to keep growing. And you don't want to take steps back. But sometimes steps back happen. And in streaming there's a flux, right? You go up and down. You're gonna have good weeks, good months, bad weeks, bad months. This is more than just a normal flux for me. This is I feel like I don't really know how the way to describe it. I feel like it's a not a temporary um change in my community. I feel like it's half the people that used to watch my stream are no longer as serious about watching my stream. And obviously some people um do that on their own, right? They have life stuff and they don't come back. But I feel like part of that's it's me. That's the kind of content I've been making. I feel like it's on me. I don't have anyone to blame but myself. Um, in terms of that, there's other outside factors that affect some people, but I'm talking like by and large. So yeah. Stream's been kind of down. The people that are in and they're engaged. I feel like chat engagement has been kind of low too. But I feel like that's on me. I feel like that's um on that front, like I used to, like I feel like my content is just different now. Like, I ranting on stream, doing what I'm doing right now, is like a huge selling point in my channel, and I don't do it very often anymore. And why? Because I just don't get fired up about as much stuff as I used to, right? Like the more I see shit that I don't like in streaming, like the more I'm just like, yeah, it's not my shit. I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not for me. But if you want to do that, that's cool. And stuff like that. And I just kind of I don't know. Every once in a while we have a good rant, but they just don't happen quite as often. I'm not in the business of forcing them to happen, because I don't think then they're good. But so I feel like it's just a change in style, a change in, I don't even know. Maybe we'll go on a tear of rants here soon. I don't really know. Maybe the podcast will bring it all back and I'll just fucking rip someone a new one. That'd be fun. I'd like that. Uh So, anyways, I don't want to belabor the point, but I feel like the stream is down, right? We're in a downward spell. We're not rock bottom or anything like that. Things are still going okay. We still have a dedicated community, and I super appreciate anybody who's, I'm not here to say like, oh, it's not good enough, like, but I'm trying to get to the point to do this for a living, and so I have to figure out a way to keep growing, right, and not take steps back all the time. Um, so yeah, shit content, man. Shit content. What's going on with the content? Let's I don't know. You fucking tell me. You guys are watching, you tell me. Um there's a lot of factors here. Okay, let's get some of the easy ones out of the way. I think that me not playing as much Sea of Thieves as I used to play, big factor, right? There were some people that only came around for Sea of Thieves. There were people that only came around, um, not just for Sea of Thieves, but when I did sub games in Sea of Thieves, there's a good amount of viewers who, as soon as I stopped doing sub games every day, they fucking bounced. Um, and I get that, I guess, like that's what they were there for. That's what they wanted. It kind of, you take it a little personally that they really only wanted to be involved in the stream and they didn't want to like actually consume the stream. But nothing you can do about that, right? People want what they want, and you can't hold that against people. So whatever. Take it personally a little bit, but that's okay. Um, so yeah, let's see at Thieves on the stream. I've kind of been all over the place with games. And part of this is negative, part of this is not negative, right? I've been playing some Star Citizen. Now that I got the new PC, I just gotten some WoW Classic. I'm playing a lot of different things. And honestly, man, I'm enjoying playing games a little bit more than I used to. Sea of Thieves is just getting a little dry for me, and I'm still playing Sea of Thieves, I'm just not hammering it every day like I was. But that I think that part of that has come with a hit, a pretty big hit to the community. Um, in some ways. So that's a big one. I think that's a big one. Taking some time off to go to like PAXs and things like that, I think is another big one. This summer I've gone to several events, and those have been great for me. In the networking category, but not so great for me in the streaming category. Um, you know, so that's been kind of a tough pill to swallow a bit. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation. And I'm glad I went, but and so let's see what else, man. I'm trying to like, we're doing this one off the cuff. I didn't take any notes this time. Like, they're just every once in a while I'll jot down some notes, but I wanted to rip this one raw. Sounds so weird. Dirty phrasing. I wanted to rip this one raw. So, let's see at Thieves. Um, a wider variety of games and just random games, right? Like we'll show up and just do fucking random shit. Um, and then I think for me the big kicker is probably just my engagement, right? I feel like uh people come into my stream and they chill, and whereas I used to be good about starting conversations and just chilling that engagement out, I still engage people when they talk to me. I feel like I wait for other people to talk to me first more than I talk to them, right? So I'm waiting to respond, and that's a big no-no in streaming and for me in general. Something I didn't used to do quite as much, but I'm doing now. At least lately. Obviously, these are things that might come and go, and whatever. But I feel like that's a factor, right? I feel like it's a factor that I've been personally a little bit lazy in my engagement, right? A little bit lazy. And won't make too many excuses for that, but I think part of it's schedule based, right? We've been going about 18 months of streaming a split schedule, 4 to 8, midnight to 4, only sleeping like 2 or 4 hours a night, on top of the day job, and like it's just been kind of wearing me out, man. It's just been wearing me out. Not necessarily in terms of like being burnt out on streaming, because I still like streaming. I still love streaming. I still want to do it. Like I'm not burnt out on the hobby. I'm burnt out on the way I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Like it's the way I'm doing it a little bit. So, but that is soon to change. The wife Caustic Phoenix mixer.com/Caustic Phoenix is applied for partnership, and once she gets approved, we're gonna be changing schedules to 10 p.m. Central Time till whenever, right? That might be 4. I'd like it to be 4 every night, get 6 hours instead of 8 a day. But if it's 4, if it's 10 to 2 and it's a good stream, then we're just gonna call it 10 to 2, right? I'm gonna try. I'm trying to focus um on a few less hours, uh, where I have more energy. I felt like just doing the schedule was like not enough energy, and then I wanted to do things outside the stream, like, oh, I gotta do a podcast, I gotta do this and that, and it's just mentally draining because I don't have the time, especially running on little sleep, which I don't need a lot more sleep in my opinion, but um you know we're running pretty close to empty on the tanks most of the time. um so I feel like that's like just that lack of energy has been um wearing me down a bit, like making me lazy in my engagement, um making me a little a little less inclined to even want to engage, right? And to get in the Discord and talk in the Discord and do the things. I've been super lazy about social media, like haven't been making a lot of clips. Haven't been making a lot of clips for Twitter and Instagram and stuff. And I don't know how much that impacts the stream necessarily directly, but I'm just dropping the ball in several areas. Um, and so I just feel like overall quality of my stream has been kind of shit lately. And again, like, again, viewers might be like, "Oh no, it's great," but that's two different standards, I think, right? What you find entertaining, what I find entertaining, two totally different things, probably. Um, and so I would like to get back to making content I enjoy and having time outside of that content to prepare other things for the stream that enhance the stream. And so the way to do that for me is changing the schedule, being more mindful about how I'm engaging, when I'm engaging, um, and trying to bring it to the stream. And part of that's that mental game, right? It's easy to like be hyped up and and be super engaging on your stream when things are going well, right? When we're but like I said, we've taken a hit, and it's day after day and week after week of things either being stagnant or being a little worse than they were. Um, and after some time mentally, you just like, oh, is this one of those times where it's just you got to ride it out because it's just that's how it goes up and down, or is this one of those times where, oh shit, I need to change something because I'm fucking up, like you really don't know, but a day after day of that kind of mentally gets to you. And like I said, it was hard to even come back to this podcast because I'm like, what the fuck do I say? Like, I don't feel like I'm doing well. I don't feel like, you know, the things that I was trying to do are paying off in any sort of way right now. But um, as we came back to the podcast, I felt like it was important to talk about um, not just the fucking philosophy and the ups and downs, but the day and day, the day in day out of this and what it is, and kind of dive a little bit more into that in a personal way. Um, so, anyways, I feel like the content's not been up to par, right? It's not the worst content I could produce, but it's not anywhere near my best stuff. Um, in any category, in gameplay and engagement, like gameplay's been suffering too in some games. And so here's what I'm doing though. Here's what obviously there are factors that have led me here, like not getting a lot of sleep and trying to split two schedules and like not giving myself time to build past 4 hours and stuff like that. Not really, in my mind, excuses. It's just cause and effect, right? It is what it is, right? I could have still like just sucked it up and made good content despite how tired I was and despite this, but I didn't, right? And made me lazy. Um, but here I am recognizing this, right? So that's at least, and I wanted to show this as part of this self assessment. Like, okay, things aren't going my way right now. Cool. All right, I get it. It's good. Things are not going my way. Like things are not where I want them to be. Perfect. All right, what the fuck are we gonna do about it, right? Because it's on me. It's on me. It's not on you. It's not on my viewers. It's not on you know, magical hosts from fucking huge partners and shit like that. Um, it's on me. It's making incremental little changes that I can do day in, day out that make my content enjoyable for other people. Whatever that means for you, with whatever that style or whatever personality or whatever you have on stream, like whatever makes it enjoyable for people to watch you, doing those things incrementally and making sure you're checking all your boxes, crossing your T's, dotting your I's about what makes your content, right? Um, and so what one thing I'm planning to do, right, as soon as Caustic is partnered, we're changing the schedule, right? The one stream, 6 hours. 6 hours gives me a little bit more time to build because by the time I hit 4 hours, I feel like I'm hitting my stride numbers wise. And it allows me to still play in that late night directory, take advantage of that late night. My afternoon guys are going to suffer. Like there's just no way around it, right? One time zone was gonna get fucked. Like either way. And I'll be honest with you, I feel like my late night crowd, Australians, Europeans, even all the insomniacs in the US are more consistent, right? They show up more consistently. They support financially more consistently. They engage in chat more consistently. they leave a lurk 24/7 on my channel, even when I'm not live, more consistently, just to help out numbers when I do go live. Stuff like that. Like it just it just was, and then it works out better for my life, right? Because then I'm getting crunched at work during the afternoon, so I go work, I go stream immediately. So now I'll have some time between work and my stream to breathe, to work on stuff, maybe to sleep if I need to, to hang out with the wife, and then jump on at 10, which I'm excited about starting on 10. There's something about like gaming for me that like I used to start all the time. Like, when are you gonna get? Oh, when are you gonna meet up with your friends in game tonight? 9 or 10. Like that was just the time. So I'm excited to like game in that prime time area again, where everybody's online, and I can maybe play with people and like, other stuff like that. So these are some things I'm trying to do to change it. Obviously, being mindful of the kind of content I'm producing, and trying to be more engaging, and um you know maybe energetic during the streams, things like that. Just being more mindful of the way I'm presenting myself on stream. Definitely something, it's not really something I can be like, oh, I'm making a change here. Like, I'm going to talk every 30 seconds or whatever. Like, that's just something you have to be mindful of and be like, oh, okay, this is something that's not going well right now. I gotta step that up. Right. And so that's one area. Along with the schedule change, I'm doing a game change, not a game change, but like a content change, where I don't have it solidified just yet, but I'll be doing like a Sea of Thieves day, right? I still have a pretty dedicated Sea of Thieves community. I want to be involved in that community. So I'm going to have one day where I play Sea of Thieves, right? That will be Sea of Thieves day. And I might play Sea of Thieves more than that, but there's at least one set day a week. Nobody has to say, when are you playing Sea of Thieves? It's Mondays. It's whatever. Um, and then separate everything else by category. Battle Royale day, a first person or just shooter game day, a like MMO type or grindy type of game day, maybe like a Destiny, Borderlands, um, WoW Classic, something that's like more MMO esque, or like a looter shooter grindy type of game. Put those all on one day. Maybe a miscellaneous day. I've been thinking about a miscellaneous day for things like IRLs, music, whatever. And then have it like an exploration day for Star Citizen, No Man's Sky. I can still play Sea of Thieves again on that day if I want, because that's an exploration game to me. Um, I think like kind of, and this is something that great variety streamers have done. They've knocked down a schedule of games, right? And some people don't do it, and it works out for them. And for a while it was working well for me when I didn't have as many games I wanted to play. But now I want to play a lot of games. And right, what that translates to me in my stream is it tends to be, I play 4 or 5 days of one game, and oh shit, my community doesn't really like that game. And they'll watch it for one day, but you do 4 days in a row, you start losing people, right? So this keeps me moving genre to genre, playing games, making sure I'm still touching all the games I want to play and getting the time in I want to play in those games. Um, and being able to incorporate new games in and rotate old games out because it's based on category. You know what I mean? So uh, we're gonna see how that goes. Changing the time I think will make a significant difference. I think that'll give me uh, a more consistent, easier to understand schedule. I think it'll help me branch out to a new audience from that 10 to midnight, and then roll that in with my old audience, midnight to 4. And then obviously weekends, I'm going to try to touch base with those guys who used to watch afternoons, if they're available, Saturdays and Sundays and stuff like that. Because I don't want to lose those people out of my community, but I'm just in a spot like I don't know what to do. Like, do I kill myself to keep everybody happy, or or do you just do what's best for you? And so I'm just doing what's best for me. That's what's going to happen. So, yeah. So this has been kind of a long format. I don't think these will always be kind of so you know long and drawn out, but I just felt like it was important, like especially since I've been gone so long, like what's been going on with the stream, and I want to incorporate this more, just this real talk about where my content's at and what I feel and what I think about it. And again, sometimes maybe my content will be really good, and maybe I'll be like, dude, this is dope. I've been killing it. I've been crushing it. Right now it's just one of those times where I don't feel like I'm crushing it. um and there's just a lot to unpack, man. There's a lot to unpack there. There's just things I'm doing, things that are out of my control. Um, changes on the platform. The platform's been changing like crazy too. We'll probably talk. I know it's a little bit late, but I'll probably talk about Ninja coming to the platform and all that stuff later on, and how things have changed. And um, we did some things. We tried 24-hour content for a while, and there were parts of that I liked and parts of that I didn't like, and so I've stopped doing the 24-hour content unless I'm doing something specific, like I'm at a convention, or like I'm maybe rerunning these podcast episodes, because that's the best way to like put these out, is to rerun format for me. Um, so it's just been an interesting journey the last couple of months, in terms of like the content and things like that. So um yeah. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now, guys. And this we're this is just like the week in review section or whatever, of this format. And again, but what I really want to talk about today, guys, now we can start the podcast. Now that I'm done like having my own pity party in the corner here, we can start the real podcast, which is about fucking consistency, right? Consistency. This is a topic that I wrote down a while ago, and I thought it was fitting because obviously I haven't been consistent. Consistency, why it's important. And honestly, I can't even remember how I talked about consistency on this podcast. I probably have in some degree. I don't know if we've had a whole episode on consistency. I could look it up right now, but I don't care. You'll probably remember and you'd be like, guys, talking about the same shit again. Um, Consistency is so important in streaming. It's just one of the and again, with the changes in my stream and how things are going, like man, it's the lesson I'm learning. Consistency in social media, making your presence out there, making sure those clips are out there so people don't forget about you, making sure you're consistently doing things like I'm doing my podcast. Like, the more content I can produce for people to consume, uh, you know, the more they get involved in the ecosystem I'm creating and want to be a part of my content and watch it and stuff like that. So being consistent is so important, and like having a consistent schedule, playing consistent games. Like I said, I stopped playing Sea of Thieves every day, and things changed dramatically for me. Watch these guys who used to play Fortnite every day now play a different game. Um, like, once you're no longer consistent in some aspect, things change for you, right? Like, it's just how it is. There are very few people that get away with streaming like whatever they want, whenever they want, just randomly, and people show up. Like, there are a few that you're like, hey, I never know when you're gonna stream. Sometimes it's 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, and sometimes it's midnight on a Friday. And that works for them somehow because they have a community that's like super sporadic. And but for most people, consistency is so important. And I just thought this was a fitting topic what I'm going through, because there's this idea. Like, I was talking to someone else who was asking me some questions. Actually, DM me, a friend was asking about pursuing streaming a little bit more seriously. And one of the things that says you got to be consistent, man. You got to make that schedule, because like um I have other friends too. Like, I don't know when they're on, I don't know when they're going. Like, and if I don't know and I'm on the platform all the time, then how's their community gonna know? You know what I mean? Like, um it's just so important. Like, it's the snowball effect, right? And this is why I'm lengthening my stream to 6 hours, even though I'm less hours a day, but one chunk is 6 hours, because um, you build over time, right? You get a little bit of momentum, and each new viewer adds to that momentum, Um, and if you take large gaps and large breaks, right? People are creatures of habit. They go somewhere else that's more consistent, that they can make it a part of their daily routine, right? And if you're not a part of their daily routine, then you get forgotten. And maybe they come back later, obviously, and like, it's not like you're completely forgotten, but in some degrees, they move on. They move on to something that fits their needs, right? Which makes sense. This is I've said it 100 times, like, streaming and all this it's a transaction, right? Streamers are not your friends. They're what you consume. Like, and there may be an occasion out there where, like, oh no, I'm friends with my streamer. Okay, cool. Like, maybe you're actually friends with your streamer, and whatever, and you guys chat all the time, and you got a relationship. But by and large, I'm speaking by and large here. You watch somebody's content, you give them your time, you give them your money, all that stuff. They give you the content to consume, right? It's a transaction, right? Like, you're paying for it with your time, with your money. They're producing content that theoretically you enjoy watching, and helps you either kill your time, or laugh, or shows you something you've never seen, or just provides you something, provides you a sense of community, somewhere to hang out and chat with people who are like-minded. Um, whatever, like, but so consistency is important because it's not a, in most cases it's not a friendship, right? Like the the people, like, I go back and forth, like changing my schedule. I go back and forth all the time with people, or I'm thinking like, man, I'm really gonna, like, I'm really gonna hurt the the dudes that are in my afternoon streams and blah 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 blah. But these dudes, I mean, some of these are the same people that will, disappear for 6 months. They'll watch every day, then disappear for 6 months, never say a word, and then and never come back to the stream or whatever, or for a long time. And they don't worry about what I think about that, right? They're not like, oh man, is that gonna make Mudcat upset? Like, is he gonna be, personally hurt by that? How's that gonna affect his stream? How's that gonna affect, his goals and stuff like that? They don't care. And why? Because it's a transaction. Because we're not actually friends, right? We're not friends. Um, and that's, I mean, that sounds mean, I guess, but it's a hard pill to swallow at some point. But like, um, you can form a community and be friendly and have a relationship without being friends. You can have a relationship without being, like, best friends or whatever. You know what I mean? But so I still have time, and I worry about, how it's going to impact people's days. Like, oh shit, they're going to be at work and they're not going to have anybody to watch. Like, they'll find somebody else to watch. Like, it goes both ways. Like, I get it in my head too that, like, I matter more to people than I do. You know what I mean? But I probably don't. Um, but being consistent, is a way to avoid that whole scenario. Like, about to, like, making sure if you're consistent, people don't have to, um, then you don't disappear on people as a streamer. You don't, even though maybe you're not friends with your viewers, um, you have a relationship, you have an obligation that you've created yourself, to be consistent and to provide them something. And then you don't have to worry about, if they're going to bounce on you if you're consistent. Hopefully, if you put in the time and the effort, you make good content consistently, then hopefully they'll consistently come back because they're part of their day. They enjoy your community, they enjoy the product you're providing them, which is, your stream, um, and you enjoy, whatever you enjoy from them, their commentary, the back and forth, the interaction, um, the time they invest, the money they invest, things like that. So it's very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting. The lines get blurred a lot. I know on that, and if we're taking a side tangent here about being friends with streamers. We talked about this in the past. Like, lines can get blurred, right? Some people, lines get blurred in the whole industry, right? Um, lines between the streamer and viewer relationship get blurred at times when you become friends with some people. Um, and then lines get blurred on the other side when you're a streamer talking to, like, people who represent or own companies. Like, you become friends with people in the industry, and then, like, business friendship lines get blurred too. And you have to remember that, like, it's all business and it's all transaction on some level, because even though I'm friends with this guy in the industry, that doesn't mean he's going to, like, sponsor me, right? It doesn't mean that they're going to give me something just because we know each other, because that's, if it's not smart for their business, it's not smart for their business, right? In the same way, viewers to streamers, like, being friendly, being engaging, providing that content is not the same as being friends. Um, you know, Again, and there are outlying cases of both, where you are friends with a viewer, or where being friends with somebody in the industry does give you opportunities or sponsorship, stuff like that. There's it's not a cut and dry black and white kind of thing, but you know what I mean? It just gets blurred. But I don't know, we're on this side tangent here. But being consistent, like, I feel like avoids a lot of those issues, right? If you're consistent, then you don't have to figure out, you know, who likes your content for your content, and who's just there because you're convenient. You know what I mean? Hopefully you never have to find that out if you're just consistent. You just can keep everybody in your stream and everybody's happy, and then, the status quo and the relationship there is the status quo, and you don't have to worry about it. So, but I was talking to somebody anyway, and they were asking about streaming, and just consistency was just so important in my mind. Being consistent, and, like, and being consistent in everything you're doing, right? Again, I said I've been struggling on the social media, I've been struggling on the podcast, and so, and not to say that everybody comes from my Instagram to my stream, But the more you're out there, right, the more you're making Instagram content, Twitter content, um, podcast content. Like again, you create this ecosystem. You create all these different points that people can see you, um, and it builds on itself. Consistency, things just build on themselves in streaming. Again, that snowball effect. Like streaming more hours helps you build a larger viewer base. Being the more you invest into your content, not just on your stream, but also again social media and other places, and the more maybe events you can get to, and like the more people you can meet in the industry, and the more networking you can do, like it just builds. You meet one person, then you meet another person, and those people know people that you've met, and like you do one tweet and you do 1,000 tweets, and then you start people start to recognize you on social media, and they're like, okay, after they see you enough times, like, who is this guy? They check you out, maybe they follow you back, maybe they follow your stream. Maybe it's somebody who is an important contact in the industry, then knows who you are, and it's like, oh, I recognize you because we, maybe you meet them later on, and they recognize you from social media or from your stream or from Instagram or from somewhere, and it just helps get that conversation and the ball rolling a little bit easier. Um, so consistency, I think maybe might be the most important aspect of streaming that you can broach. Like I feel like it's even if you make really bad content and you make really shitty content, and I'll be the first one to cop to this one, but even if you make really shitty content, like there are still people that'll watch, right? There are some people that don't have a standard, you know, and that's not to say that they don't have a standard, but like their standard's different from yours, um, and they'll watch. There are people out there that will watch anything. They will watch Gandalf bobbing his fucking head for 24/7. You know what I mean? Like there are some people that will watch literally just about anything. There are other people that are more discerning, and that's just the game. So like, I feel like being consistent is more important, right? If you consistently show up and do it, you're at least guaranteed to pull a few people in, right? That will like your content for what it is. Um, maybe you're not going to pull in waves and waves of people, but if you keep showing up, you'll find at least a couple of people, right? Over time. Um, it's about being on. It's about showing up, and I feel like more than anything, after and if you're showing up every day, then it becomes easier to say, okay, I'm showing up, and it's still not working. Then you can say, okay, let me change this about my stream. Let me change that about my stream. Let me do this and this. It's easier to like start making tweaks to your what you're doing, because you've already done the hardest part, which is showing up every day. And again, we could get way into it. Like, okay, there's a point where maybe you're showing up every day and you should just quit. Like maybe showing up's not enough for you. There may be a time or a place where that's a reality. And you have to figure that out for yourself, right? But where your cutoff point is, where enough's enough. But all in all, I feel like consistency is such a huge, especially starting out, is such a huge hurdle. Making that schedule, making sure it works with your life, making sure you can consistently commit to it. Um, in a way that you're not going to burn yourself out, and like and again, I'm not a huge proponent of going easy. We go pretty hard in the paint. Again, like a lot of hours, and it's just now that I'm backing off hours, like 18 months into 18 months into grinding. And that's because I think it's not something I want to do. I want to do more hours, right? It's not that I want to do less hours. I want to stream less hours. I think that I have to take a real look at what I produce as far as content, and a real look at my consistency, and the real look at my life and what I can manage and what I can't manage, in terms of like, like things are getting busier with my job. Like I can't always make that hard 4 o'clock time in the afternoon. Like I just can't do it anymore. Like it does not work for my life. You know what I mean? Um, so there's those times where you just hit a hard wall, and you're like, okay, well, um, for me, I think pulling back a bit will, in the long run, make better content, um, make a more consistent viewer base, and a more consistent, better, stronger community of people who like to, be around each other and enjoy the content, and enjoy, whatever they get out of the stream, whatever that is. I can't tell you what you get out of the stream, but you know what I mean. Um, yeah, so I feel like consistency is like the most important thing, even if it's not ideally what you want. Again, ideally I want more hours, but I can't do that. So I have to pull back a bit, um, and be consistent with that. And I think that that will equal better growth, better content, at the very least, better content. And I'm kind of in a spot right now where, we've had some good growth follower wise this year, and I would much rather make good content than continue to grow my stream, making content that is either A, shit, or B, I don't enjoy making. Like I just don't enjoy playing Sea of Thieves every day again. Um, and there may be a week where I do, maybe a week where I show up and be like, man, let's Sea of Thieves it out. But I just don't want to make the same. I just don't want to play the same game every day. I just don't want to do it. And I don't want to play the same two games over and over and over again. I want to play the content I enjoy and have a good time. Man, I played WoW Classic the other night for the first time, and that was one of the more fun experiences. Like, if you're watching the stream, it's probably a pretty chill stream. Like, there's not a lot going on. It's just WoW Classic. You're just walking around questing, but like, I just enjoyed fucking making little one-off comments about everything happening in the game, about the NPCs, about because that's what I like. I like riffing and commentary, humor and shit like that, and and being sarcastic and stuff, and being stupid, and like it was enjoyable for me. It was really enjoyable. I really had a good time. Um, maybe that's not gonna be the most popular game for me and my content personally, because I don't really feel like I have a community that's super engaged in watching WoW Classic, but it was a nice. I felt better about that stream than I felt about a lot of streams in a long time. Honestly, I felt better about that WoW Classic stream than I had playing, who knows, Sea of Thieves, Apex, Overwatch, whatever, in a long time, just because I was really enjoying it. Um, and it just felt comfortable and relaxed and felt right. And um, and I think consistency in content is important as well. Like trying to make consistently the style of content you want, right? Creating that style that you like, that you want your stream to represent or whatever, and consistently producing that, and figuring out how to consistently produce that. And for me, I think it's finding opportunities where, you know, um, opportunities where I excel in gameplay, and opportunities where I can, make stupid commentary about fucking NPCs and shit, and opportunities where I can rant more on stream, and opportunities where I can engage my chat more. Um, all these things. I think it's just like so making those opportunities so you can be consistent in your style as well, I think is very important. So overall, I think consistency is the name of the game. I really think a lot of problems can be fixed post consistency. If you get that consistency down and you get your style down and get those all that shit down, that there are a lot of other problems that you could address later on. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think I'm done, guys. I think I'm done with this podcast. I'd like it to go on for 3 hours since we've been going so long, but I think I'm gonna cut it at here where it is. Consistency is important, guys. I hope this wasn't a too much of a downer episode. It's kind of a downer. Jesus Christ, what the fuck, man? You know, you know the stuff about my stream. I'm not, again. I don't want that to come off as I'm complaining about the, because compared to a lot of people, I've got a lot of success, so I got nothing to complain about, really. Um, but at the same time, like, I just have my own standards, my own expectations for my content, and I want to keep growing. And I think taking an honest look at your shit, is good for the long run. So hopefully that helped you in some way. I don't know. Maybe that didn't. Maybe it was just a waste of my time, but we'll find out. You guys will let me know. Guys, if you want to support this podcast, I can't even remember all this shit. You can follow me on social media. That's mixer.com/mudcat, twitter.com/mudcattv, instagram.com/mudcattv. You can also support the podcast or the stream financially. Patreon.com/mudcat. We're working on revamping the tiers there. It's gonna be something new, but you are more welcome. It's still up and running if you want to support the podcast in that fashion. Patreon.com/mudcat. Guys, get out there, find some new people to watch this week. Find some content you like. Make some good content. Do whatever. Have good streams. Whatever, dudes. I will see you for another episode of Rants next time.